and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, joined as always by the natural Astrid Mazzaro. Welcome back, Astrid. And Astrid, can you please introduce us to our very special guest for this episode of Taking Over?
Well, as most of you know, and I think you guys have mostly seen the advertisement that I have here with my shirt, which is from the company For Your Words. So we have the owner and founder of Blue with us today. How are you, Blue?
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome intro, by the way. I was just rocking out like.
Everybody loves the intro. Javi, Big Body Javi himself loved it when we played it for him when we did our interview with him. Everybody comments on it, but we have Blue here for two reasons. One, we're talking about a fantastic wrestling company that we thought he might be interested in watching when we did the show this week. But more importantly, Blue, you have something to market. We want to go ahead and talk about it right here at the top of the show. So can you tell us what you've got going on?
Yeah, definitely. So right now I have a rest outside of foryourword.com. Get your official merch, like the natural over there, and all your favorite indie wrestlers and podcasters and things like that. For Your Word presents Brainbuster Battle Royal each and every Sunday, streaming live on Twitch, 8:30 p.m. You can go ahead and follow us at Brainbuster Battle Royal on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and on Facebook. You also can follow us on X and Instagram, Twitter, whatever, at BB Battle Royal. And yeah, so it's a cool trivia show where a couple of fans, podcasters, just people who loves wrestling come out and compete in a 14 contestant 16 regular tournament format, right? Kind of contest, and see who has the better knowledge.
And if you haven't, the first episode aired just this week. It was fantastic. Drizzy versus Cameron Seahawk.
Yep.
Hawkins, I believe is his last name, right?
Yep.
I know it's Seahawk, and then I always forget. Right there. Yeah, it was a fantastic episode. Really loved it. There were some questions that stumped me, and I was like,
yeah.
I got that one.
Yeah, it's even tougher when the lights is on, like
oh god, it's so much work.
Like, I don't even Seahawks like I know this, but for some reason it's stuck, and it happens. Like when the camera comes on, you think you know it, you just you're like, do I know it? And it's too late because the next person already was in. So it's actually a time.
Seahawk is in the moment of it all. My favorite moment is Seahawk miscommunicating Wrestle Kingdom with WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
And just going completely off script.
Yeah, you said Psycho Sid versus
The Undertaker.
I was like, bro, I said Wrestle Kingdom.
I'm sitting here going, which one was Omega? Which one was, and I'm going through my head of all of Okada's opponents, and I'm like, which one was that?
Yeah.
Because if it's anywhere from 9 to 14, half the answer to a main event of Wrestle Kingdom is Okada.
You would think, right? But I feel like watching most of that, right? I felt a lot of times they put Okada versus Omega right before the main event. Okay. If you think about it, it's right before. I don't know why they did it that way, because they knew that would be a hard, unless it was for the title or unless it was very promoted. For the most part, they did right before, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you could definitely think that.
Yeah. We got Bobby Munson in the chat. We got Parrish in the chat. Zach Minger was in here early saying Happy National Chocolate Day. My favorite of the national days. I miss having my chocolate.
I had some peanut chews earlier.
There we go. But we are here to talk about ASÉ Wrestling, I believe is how we're all talking about. Making sure we say it properly.
ASÉ Wrestling. Yeah.
This is a wonderful wrestling promotion out of North Carolina, run, owned, and operated by the fantastic Darius Lockhart, I believe it was.
Yep.
Yeah. I loved the idea for this promotion. They have a pre-show, which I didn't realize while I was watching it that was a pre-show, where it mixes music and wrestling all in one for free for everybody in attendance. And then they kind of tell people all right, if you don't got a ticket, y'all got to leave and for the main show. And I'm like, that's so interesting and cool. And I don't know how it would work up here. I don't know if that's a North thing where I'm like, this wouldn't fly up here in New England. I don't know if we're just a little too uppity for this stuff, but telling me that I can come for free and then kicking me out halfway through. Like, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, I think it's a situation. I've never seen that before through promotions, but it definitely worked for ASÉ. Shout out to ASÉ Wrestling. Got a couple of friends over there as well. Shout out to Lovely, shout out to Big Swole. They all work together with Lockhart, brother Darius Lockhart, and put a promotion together. That was awesome. They always put on some great shows, so I always enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I'd heard about this, but I'd never really taken the time to go ahead and take a look. And we were looking at trying to do the October 18th show, but unfortunately, that's only available via pay right now. So we're like, let's go back a month. Let's look at ASÉ 11, and then boom, there we go. We found this great card. It includes Cedric Alexander, Big Swole on comment. By the way, hearing Big Swole just made me miss seeing Big Swole in the ring. And when Chris Lee said on commentary to one of the matches, we're going to milk a couple more matches out of you. I'm like, yes, please. Like, yes, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think I get her out there.
What did you think about the commentary team here with Chris Lee and Big Swole here on the show?
I think I enjoyed it. Big Swole is great on the mic. She's hosted events. She's hosted ASÉ events. She's hosted other wrestling events. I feel like she's really found a footing in something that she's always been great at. She's always been great at promo. She's always been great on the mic. So now it's translating into commentary. I know that she's still adjusting in a sense, but she sounds natural on the mic as always. She knows the references. She knows the wrestling moves. She's just is in tune with the whole ASÉ brand altogether, so it only made sense to put her on commentary.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This has been probably one of my favorite commentary teams because I feel like as much as I miss wrestling, I love that she's all involved in this in the way that she is too, and I love that. And I love the fact that, especially when Cedric was on commentary too, it's another highlight for me, hitting it for him as well. But overall, I love the fact that they give us so much background on everybody. They tell us who this person is and that person is, and being that I knew half of the people on the card, but not the other half. And it's nice to be able to tell us like, oh, this is this guy, and if it's a tag team, this is the one that's this one, this is the one's the other one. The history behind the match before the match even happens, like they give us such a background, not only on the characters but the storytelling, that I feel like I had seen it even before, even though this was my introduction to it. And I love the fact when you tell me the whole story, and I feel like I could be more involved within the match and what I'm seeing. And I feel like this is definitely one that was, for me, props to them as a team here because it did so great.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about is representation. And I'm going to take a massive backseat and let the two of you guys talk about this because I'm not the face of representation. I'm always represented. But we need to talk about on this show having a company that's devoted to representing the greatness of not just. I want to try to find the way to word this because the easy way to word it is African American, but it's not. There's so much more to this. This is a culture more than it is a racial thing to me, from the way I perceive this. From Bishop Khan, from Cameroon, from a lot of these guys that seemingly come, men and women who come from all over the place. Blue, we're going to start with you again. Talk about how the representation of this is so great, considering how flawed the representation can be on some of the bigger shows.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Darius Lockhart was the perfect person for this. If you know Darius Lockhart's background, you know he is for the people and for the culture. So for him to start a wrestling company like ASÉ Wrestling and having this representation presented to a mass audience is amazing. Like you said, you have Kaun that's up there, Cedric. You have some notable names. AJ Francis has come through. The main event tag team is awesome. You know what I mean? They just in this show here, they crowned the new women's champion. We can talk about that a little bit later. They're able to bring in legends like Jazz to be part of the board, and it's just a great feeling and great opportunity to have representation like this brought into the forefront. So it's amazing, not just for Black wrestlers to be presented, but also different backgrounds and different pronouns and things of that nature that just all being represented on one card. It's just been great to watch.
Astrid?
Yeah, I mean, like Blue very like summarized it all there. That's one thing that it's not only here, but it's something that we at Overly we like to like bring out and highlight the fact that we like to show off representation as much as we can here from people from different backgrounds, even like not only on screen on a weekly basis, but even as guests as we do most of the time. But overall, it's nice to see it happening in a wrestling company the way it is, the way it's not only represented but celebrated that it's
Yeah,
happening the way it is. Like it's a just it's like a cultural movement. It's the way best way I can describe this whole promotion, to be honest. And I love the way they presented to us, and I feel they did really well with it. I like I said, I knew some of the talents, especially the ladies from the card, but to be able to get introduced to so many other talents that I feel like I'm gonna keep following after this because they did an amazing job with this whole card, even though it was a long, well, probably one of the longest events we've reviewed on the show so far, but it didn't even feel like it was that long compared to other shows that we have reviewed before, and I feel like they did really well with, like giving us a good mesh of like tag team wrestling, singles, and then women's wrestling. So I feel like they balanced it all.
yeah, definitely. Also, when Kaun came out and his garbs and had the dancers and things of that nature, it was just dope to see. And it just shows how much Kaun can be a main event wrestler sometime in the future. He's done some great things over at AEW, so it's just a good stepping stone for him to start building that character as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bishop Kaun was one of the big reasons why I wanted to do this. I'm a massive fan of all the things that he and Gates of Agony can do, and I think he could be a main event player now if just given the ball. They just have to hand him the ball and let him run with it. And that Ring of Honor World Championship, I get Bandito's got that, but can we get it off Bandito? Let him go up and play with Brody King on AEW and just let Bishop Kaun kind of run that division for a little bit. That'd be fun.
That'd definitely be fun. Bandito is doing amazing work on AEW as tag team champions. They got a whole following. Honestly, when I was watching was AEW this week? It was last week when I was watching Bandito, and even at the Wrestle Dream, I was watching how over there. I'm like, so why is this guy still Ring of Honor champion? like why does he still have this? It's clear it's time for him to move forward. And Kaun's a good choice, but Kaun is also caught up in his own thing with the man. So
yeah, but you could slide all the stuff with Ricochet over there,
Yeah, you can
slide
both
Ricochet
shows.
over there.
Yeah, you can do both shows.
Like seeing Gates and Agony in New Japan in the tag league. Yeah, that sounds like a thing. But let's go ahead and let's start here. We got Team Maryland taking on Team North Carolina in the first of our pre-show matches. Mr. Grimm, Olijah Friday, Andino, and Moses taking on Team North Carolina of Dontay, Khalifah, Jha'Quan, McNair, Bojack, and Manny Lowe. And by the way, if the white guy screws up any of these pronunciations, please, for the love of God, somebody correct me, because I feel like I'm going to do that a few times in this show. Astrid, why don't we go ahead and let you talk about this match? What did you think about this 8-person tag?
I think the best way I can describe it is as Vel described it, is a glorious chaos in the best way possible. Because it was all over the place, but not in a bad way, because it's one of those matches like once everybody gets in the ring, they all like do that all out brawl kind of thing, and you love those kind of thoughts when that happens. But I like how even at the beginning they were able to show off a little bit of everybody here and there before really the brawl really happened. So I'm glad that there was also a spotlight on everybody before everything became that glorious chaos I would like to call it. But yeah, I just felt like it was really fast paced as well, which is what I like to see in my matches. So I feel like it was a good way to pick up the energy for the show and really start the show and get everybody going from there and get them motivated to keep watching it. But overall, I really enjoyed it.
Lou, what about you?
Yeah, definitely. This was a good start to the show. It had some great talent on both sides. They came ring geared, coordinated for it's crazy. It's always interesting to me how wrestlers on the independent come together on outfits like this, because they're not naturally a team, right? But somehow they all came up with the color coordination. But it was definitely, like she said, a fast paced match, and it was very entertaining from the start. And there's just you took everything you can from it.
Yeah, I want to talk about one guy in particular that stood out to me. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. It's Bojack. This guy is sensational. I loved everything I saw about him in this match. Just a big, beefy lad, just ready to. He's chucking people around. He's chucking big old dudes around. He's slapping guys and making the whole room go ow. The amount of cool stuff that I saw Bojack do in this match for a guy that feels like he's my size is absolutely sensational. This was, as Ashton said, glorious chaos from beginning to end. In the end, Team North Carolina does indeed get the win. They go to 3-0 in these Team North Carolina versus matches, which is nice to see. And then post-match, we get a little bit of an angle here, which is nice. We get Gerard Bonner going out there, and he's their backstage interviewer extraordinaire. Yep. And he's talking to Jha'Quan McNair about his potential new WWE tryout that he's got coming in. But Mr. Khalifah does not want to talk about no WWE tryout. He doesn't want to talk about somebody who apparently might be leaving. And this gets the two of them involved. And then the boys try to keep them separated, but that doesn't really work very well. And everybody goes to the back, and Gerard's just standing there like, well, I guess we're not going to get any more. Congratulations on your tryout. And I'm like, that wasn't supposed to go that way.
Right.
We then get Aaron Akeem and Blade Brown taking on Keith Mack and Zuka King.
Yeah.
I want to have anybody else on this panel talk to me about where I believe it's Keith Mack is talked about where he's from. Because as I said to Ashton in our pre-show notes, I am, as Alex Kane would say, melanin deficient to be talking about the location for which Keith Mack, I believe it is from.
Keith Mack.
It is the National Institute of Genetically Great, I believe is the word.
I don't know.
Genetically gifted athletes. Yes, that is the one I'm looking for. The National Institute of Genetically Gifted Athletes. I'm not the right tone to be talking about that, but I thought that was cute as could be.
He's very entertaining, man. He has his own personality. That's awesome.
I thought he was the star of the show here. Like, no offense to Zuka King, who looks like just a big wall of meat and a guy that I want to get into, but this Keith Mack is so entertaining and so fun. This was a fantastic match, and the cheat to win by the heel working with the good guy and the good guy not knowing it but kind of knowing it. Like,
right.
This just all works so well. I love seeing the vets win against these young up and comers. Mm-hmm. It was everything it needed to be for a good pre-show match. Blue?
Yeah, definitely. They were a good. It's always good to have like some kind of, I don't want to say comic relief, but like some fun in wrestling, right? Especially when you're trying to draw a crowd in. Like you said, this was on a pre-show. You want to hook the crowd and make sure that it's not just, seriousness. Is also some fun and games as well. And seeing talented veterans in the ring as well is also a good thing to bring in the crowd. And like you said, there's not much you can say about Keith Mack, but he definitely is entertaining between those ropes.
That's true.
And I love the fact that here in commentary they tell us from the beginning that Keith and Zuka are the vets compared to the other guys, since like they have more than 10 years of experience compared to the other two. And even at the beginning we see it with Keith goes against Aaron and Keith outsmarts him at the beginning of the match. Right. And I love how they started like kind of like introducing that fun in the match just by having that part. They're like, we told you they're the vets for a reason. They're just like, this is exhibit A. And I love seeing that, but like Ed was saying, like Keith is definitely the highlight of this match for me as well.
I mean, anytime you get to see a guy twerking in the ring, either pre-match, post-match, or at any point, and I love to I feel like this is, to me, it's almost like a shout out to the old days of the Undertaker with the Spinneroonie, Keith trying to get Zuka to do the twerking thing, right? And Zuka's like no, I don't play. From my old In Living Color watching days, homie don't play that game.
Right.
And he just walks away. And again, if you've never seen In Living Color, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but Homie the Clown is one of the greatest things to ever be on television.
Ever.
ever. In Living Color itself is one of the greatest TV shows of all time, but Homie the
Definitely.
Clown held that show together like no other.
Homie, don't
We
play
then we then do go to the main card where we have Gerard Bonner. We had, by the way, in this pre-show we had 3 musical performances. I didn't watch a lot of them because I was trying to make sure I got to the wrestling.
Right.
But again, I love the idea of mixing wrestling with music. I think that that's been something that every wrestling company has shown you that works well together. Whether it's the old days of the WWE in the 80s with the Rock and Wrestling Connection. Hell, Bobby Munson used to have a show on various networks talking about the connection between the music industry and the wrestling business and how important it is. So I thought it was really cool to have live music performances during a pre-show.
Not only that, is also a way to get new eyes to these artists as well.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, sometimes it's difficult for, especially in the music scene, to break through. So this is a great way for to bring new fans to these people, and hopefully their music connect with somebody, and it's always their music that's also part of the culture. It's a culture thing, so it's awesome to see.
Yeah, music does indeed go hand in hand with wrestling. 2 of Bobby's absolute favorite things. We get the championship celebration for Bishop Kaun for the Pan-Afrikan World Diaspora. Thank you.
No
Championship.
problem.
And I even looked up the word. Diaspora means like the distribution and like the sending of people to other areas around the world. Because I wanted to understand the meaning of that championship, especially when I found out that this is the secondary championship in this. Because I thought it was their world championship. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, oh wait, no, this is their intercontinental title. This is God, this celebration to me, I couldn't not watch. Like, it just drew me in. It was so interesting and different. And again, I love being introduced to a culture and to a people and to a way of life that's different from my own. Right. And this did that in such a way. Blue, what did you take out of this?
Definitely, the culture definitely was touched and presented in this manner. Shout out to Kaun for that, and then the dancers coming out and everything like that. But also the promos leading into this to set up his match with Isaiah Broner later on that night was amazing, and just to see the interaction and setting up multiple feuds, right? Like, this is like in quote unquote indie wrestling, but they're giving you storylines that you could tie yourself into, and it's just different, and it's refreshing to see on a grant like on this kind of stage, and just during the celebration and being interrupted like nah, you still owe me. No, you still owe me. It's just dope to watch altogether. So it was a great presentation for all of them.
Astrid, I want to talk to you about this one because when we did Action Pro Wrestling, shout out to Action Wrestling, we saw Shug D before.
Yeah,
it was so interesting to see him as a baby face as opposed to a heel here. Do you want to talk more about that as you talk about the Bishop Kaun celebration?
I feel like it wasn't a surprise for me because I got used to watching him like that in AEW Dark, the little bits and pieces that I saw of him there during the pandemic era. So this is more of like the Sugar D that I'm used to watching. So this is for me like nothing new, not in that aspect of it. I did like the reaction that he got when he came out though. I was like, I love when things like that happen, that it just is so organically the way people reacted to him in the way that he came out to confront Kaun is like, and I love not only that, but the confidence, and as the kids say now, the aura that Kaun gives us, it's just out of the charts. Really, there's no way to put it out there.
right.
And it's the one moment that we were talking about earlier that made me realize is like he could easily be just a singles competitor, and he could be great at it if given that chance. And this is just this whole promo alone, without no match involved in it, to me was just exhibit A of what he could do and how confident he is on the mic, and even when he talks and everything, it's just amazing to watch him do that. But sugar that him saying like, I like how commentary tells us that like he lost the championship to Kaun, so this is why he's interrupting him. All these connections they give us in commentary and in the promo itself, it's what I love the most about this segment, because I feel like I learned so much just by listening to everybody talking here. And I loved I was there, and then I say I want to interrupt in there as well. So we got a little bits and pieces of like Blue said, different storylines here, but not only do the wrestlers in the promo, but the commentary give us the whole full picture of this.
Yeah, I thought this was top notch from beginning to end. is there a prettier pro wrestler in all of the world than Bishop Kaun? Like this man. By the way, also, did he add teeth to his mouth? Because I feel when he smiles, I feel like he has like 10% more teeth than anybody I've ever seen. Like he has the biggest, like greatest smile I've ever seen in all of the professional wrestling industry. No, I've been a big fan of Gates and Agony and Bishop Kaun for a long time. I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I love, like I said, being introduced to things that I wouldn't see on a normal basis. And this did that for me. And even Shug D being like, this was something great. I love this, but you're not worthy of the line for me was Shug D being like, you need to prove to not only us, to the people, to yourself that you're worthy to sit in a throne like that. To sit in that throne, you need to prove that you're worthy of it. Because Trish held this title for 1,000 days. I held this title for 600 days. You're going on a month and you still have done nothing but show up and be Ricochet's lackey. Wow. I'm just like, that shit went hard.
Yeah.
And I loved everything about it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just co-signing. I was saying, yeah, definitely.
We then move on to telling a story with Darius Lockhart. Again, the owner and operator of this company. And we've got him going up against frontman Jah-C, who, ironically for Astrid, is one of her favorite people's trained him with the Seth Rollins trained Black and Brave Academy. Astrid, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about frontman Jah-C defeating Darius Lockhart here?
That was one that was surprising in a way, because I know Darius is one that's, to put it like that, in the spotlight in the scene. So I kind of expected him to win the match, and then when he did it, it's like, oh, I like how he actually put somebody over like somebody younger over a younger talent. And I like how to begin the match, he just starts him and just starts asking, he's like, how do you want me to beat you? And he starts giving him options before the match begins. I was like, I like the fun in this so far, the way that he just starts this match here to kind of like concentrate us on something a little bit different before they really start. But I love how Jah-C is able to concentrate so much, and Darius, especially his knee, the way he just focuses on it, just like the way at one point he does a submission, starts blowing up and hitting his knee repeatedly. And it's like, I love the way that he, like, not only Darius sells it, but also the way that Jah-C just focuses on that throughout the match. And I feel like once he did that, I was like, I like the way that his mentality went towards the match. And that was, I can't even describe it. It's like, I like just the pacing that he gave to the match in itself. But at the end, I was just surprised that he won. But I feel like they did really well together.
Yeah, but it's just the fact. It was just the fact of how he won, right? He cheated to get the win. And it's like, this is not what. So Lockhart was most like, this is not what I taught you. Like, you're supposed to be doing better than this. So it was a win, but it's a tainted win over the one Darius Lockhart. But like you said, the story just been told between these two, between student and teacher, in a sense, right? It's amazing, and it's gonna be again the storyline, right? It's gonna continue on through this promotion, and hopefully, Lockhart gets his revenge.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about in this match is this is where I felt like commentary really took a step up. And they've been good throughout the show, and they're going to be great throughout the show. But for some reason, in this match, I really felt like it stepped up a notch with Chris being able to give such great advice about what's going on, and why the hardest part of the ring is the outside of the ring, and things like that. But also, Swole came into her own here, really being able to go ahead and get points across and making sure that everybody knew everything that needed to be known. And it's so great to have a color commentary and a play-by-play who have both been professional wrestlers. And I think that was something we learned later from Chris Lee that I didn't know going in, is that he's been in the ring. He knows what he's doing. He's been trained. He's had pro wrestling matches. And more specifically, he's worked with Swole and with Cedric in the past. So that the reason why that threesome came across so well is because they already know each other so well. Yeah. I was surprised by Darius Lockhart because I haven't seen him in the professional wrestling landscape. I've known him as like the business guy, running different wrestling promotions, being in the forefront of pushing wrestling and culture and making sure that it's all intertwined. He's always at the front of that. And I always forget that he's also an incredibly talented professional wrestler. He did it great here. And it's so good to see, promotions where that guy on top, where the guy running the show, where the guy with the book is willing to understand when business means business, and putting guys over is way more important than ego. And we've seen countless people in the wrestling business, as soon as they get the book, I'm the number one star, I'm the guy in charge, I'm the guy who has to be on all the posters and everything.
I'm gonna carry everybody.
Yeah, I mean, no names. Jeff Jarrett. Sorry, I don't know how that popped out. Kevin Nash. Didn't know how that one popped out either. But it was so great to see Darius do everything under the sun to make sure that frontman Jah came out looking good. And at the end of the day, I want to see more from Jay than I do from Darius in the ring, because Darius did the job Darius needed to do. He got J.C. over so much that I want to see what happens next with this character, with this dude.
Yeah, he's very talented too.
Yeah. We then move on to our final qualifier for the Women's Championship Tournament match to crown the first ever ASÉ Women's Champion. And this includes Maya World, who I believe is one of the Reality of Wrestling recruits, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
I believe she's out of that little lineage of stuff. Taking on Aleah James, former WWE NXT UK, fantastic professional wrestler, indie wrestler across the world. Astrid, I know you've been dying to talk about this match, so we're going to make you wait. We're going to go to Blue first.
Dang it.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this card again. I'm like, yo, some people that's on here are on For Your Wear, so make sure you check that out. Get some of their merch. I'm like looking at like most of the cards. I've been trying to go to ASÉ show for like the longest, but every time I try to go to an ASÉ show, it always falls on like the wrong day. Like the most recent one, on October 18th fell on my son's birthday weekend, and we had to go take a family trip. So I've been trying to go out and see one of these shows live since it's not so far from me. But I gotta make sure I figure this out. But nah, definitely. Maya World from where you were was also in the ring. The It Girl, she showed her and Jada Stone, who wasn't on this card, but those two are growing so fast in this business, and they're just shining. How they're handling Jada more so over, like, been doing a lot of the more Japan shows, and now Maya World is doing more so, like you said, with Reality of Wrestling over here and other indie shows here as well. They've been doing amazing work. So seeing this match with James, it really showed out, and when she came out on top going to the Final Four, it just shows how much people are starting to buy into the It Girl in a sense, because they put her in the main event and the spot coincidentally to replace Jada Stone, who couldn't make the show. So I just thought about that right now, like how that just came full circle. But it was great to see that matchup between those two women, and they put on a great match.
Astrid, I will let you finally talk about this match that you've been dying to talk about.
You sure about that?
No, okay, I can go. No, it's fine. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not going now. You lost your no, I just insinuating that because this is the match. This one in the main event, because I knew one of the two girls obviously going to be in the main event, but this in the main event, one of the main reasons why I wanted to watch this card. And I was told that Maya, like Blue was saying, is somebody that's blowing up on the indie scene, and I know she's been at it for a while now, but I feel like now more than anything she's gaining that spark and really just going up, and she has a rocket to her because she's up and everywhere at this point. And I don't even know where she hasn't been at this point. Of like she's been to so many places, so many promotions, but here with Aleah, holy crap! It was my match of the night, and then the main event too. And they had so much fun with it. I feel like they were able to show off a little bit of each other here, and it's not just like one or the other one. They really were able to balance each other off so well. They had such a great chemistry. I love the match from beginning to end. I love how they stand there with a handshake. They're like, we have that sportsmanship even in the match before it really begins. And I thought even from the get-go, it was like whoever wins, it's still going to be a great addition to the main event. But I thought whoever won is still going to be the smallest competitor in the match, because everybody else are just powerhouses in this main event. And I also felt really bad at the end. I was like, oh no, they're so tiny compared to everybody else too. But no, they did really well together. At the beginning, Aleah did a reversal to a headlock, towards a headlock that she did to Maya. And I feel like that looked great. There was a DDT from the top rope at 1.2 that was like one of my highlights of this match. And I love how there was a point that Aleah goes to pin Maya. Maya puts her foot on the rope. And I was like, look at her being. She's not putting it on the bottom one. She's putting it on the middle one. It's like not
Right.
even the one that's closest to her, but the one above that. So I was like, I love how she's just able to like go even more in. But I feel like they did so well together. And at the end, we get Maya winning with the pinning bridge. I love the bridges here in this match too. I love how commentary highlights that, how well they do with them.
Yeah.
But overall, they did great. I love this match.
I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do a bridge, like a wrestling pin bridge. It is one of the most difficult things in the world to do, seemingly. I know I can't, my body can't do it. I love doing that. And like I said, like Ashton said, the thing I noticed from this match that I can't miss is she put her foot on the rope. She put it on, like I said, on that second rope. I'm like, what the hell? I've never seen that. Like, that little itty bitty girl stretched that foot out as far as she could to make sure it was on that second rope. It's like, you're not going to miss my foot, sir. You're going to see this.
You're going to see it.
This match was fantastic. I loved everything about this. Aleah James, you know, I used to love watching. I was to say I used to love watching her in NXT UK. I want her to continue staying across the United States a little bit more often. I want to see her popping up in new places. You say places, where hasn't Maya World been? Wrestling Open, unfortunately, because for a span of like 3 hours, she was on the show for next Monday, and I was like, well, looks like I might have to go to, you know, down to Providence, Rhode Island to go see this girl, because everybody talks about Maya World. She's popping up on every poster me and Astrid are looking at for shows to do in the next week and the next month. Maya World's popping up on all of them. So I'm like, I have to go see her live. And there was a 3-hour gap where I was going to get that opportunity before she ended up not being able to make the show and got pulled. Well, that's Aleah James, but Aleah James isn't who we're talking about. We're talking about the greatness of Maya World. I mean, she's fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We all sit here and love Aleah James. And I love the sportsmanship, not only before the match, but after the match. Aleah being the, you know, the consummate professional, she shakes her hand. She tells her to go get it, to win it for them.
Right.
And then we have Alexis Littlefoot. I don't know what, and again, this is the hard part about popping in and out of independent wrestling, not watching on a constant basis, not knowing things that are going on. Because she pops up here like, hey, I'm betting on this person and I'm not betting on you. And she drops a whole bunch of the daily bet that, you know, she dropped like FanDuel and DraftKings and all that. And I'm like, are you a wrestler? Are you a manager? Like, I didn't know like who she is or what she is. And I thought she was a backstage interviewer until they were like, well, they didn't bet enough on you to put you in the match. Yeah. And I'm like, is she a competitor then? Like, because I wouldn't tell, you know, I'm not going to take it to NXT. I'm not going to tell Kelly Kincaid that we don't bet on her enough because she's not in the ring, you know, although Quinn McKay is a fantastic professional wrestler. But it's like, it just felt like there was something missing for me in this one, just because I don't watch enough to know, you know, that Alexis Littlefoot is a competitor.
Right.
But I thought it was a real fun chemistry between the three of them, and I wouldn't mind seeing Alexis Littlefoot versus Maya versus Aleah James at a future show. That could be a fun match.
Yeah.
Lots of setup for things.
Yeah, Littlefoot is she's been training. She's coming out of Kentucky. She's been training for quite a few years now. So she's been making her ways around the indies. She's been in Jersey. I know she's been in she's done a lot of shows. So she's been on ASÉ Wrestling as well. That's why she made that comment like, "Well, they didn't bet on you to put you in the match." She's had matches there as well. So yeah, she's pretty dope as well in the ring. So
there we go. Yeah. Like I said, I like the look of her. It just felt out of place.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
Like, we get an Audacity interview backstage as they were told during the Bishop Khan segment that they're going to be introducing tag team championships to the company, and the Audacity versus the Uglee Gang, I believe it is. Yes, Uglee Gang is going to be the first qualifier for that. And then there's going to be a match that happens at the December show, I believe. Was it the October show or the December show where they're going to be crowning the new champions? Well, they would have already crowned.
Yeah, I think it's the December show. What do you mean the tag titles, right?
Yeah, the tag titles.
So the tag titles were the next show that passed this past October 18. They have new tag team champions.
That's what I thought.
Okay, the Midnight Strike, the Strike to Midnight show that they just did.
Yep.
Okay.
They crowned new tag team champions.
Okay. Well, we got in our next match, we have Cedric Alexander taking on Ian Maxwell. And I love this, how Chris literally points out, he's like, all right, Swole, I know this is going to be tough. You need to be objective. And she's like, I've got this. I can do this. And then 3 minutes into the match, she's like, I can't do this.
Yep.
The funny thing was, she did do it. This is the most unbiased commentary I've seen from a significant other on commentary ever. Because again, I'm used to watching WWE, where really the biggest one that I get to see of this is Corey Graves. And while I adore the work Corey Graves does, Corey Graves doing a Carmella match is just next level simping beyond belief.
Yeah.
So, but I love this match from beginning to end. I think Cedric is fantastic. Heel Cedric is something I didn't know I needed to see. However, I do wish that if they were going to make the whole point of the Cedric story, the entire Cedric story that they're doing here, that North Carolina young wrestlers who he worked with and trained aren't doing enough. I really wish that they were picking a guy who had done a bit more than Cedric in the business. Because it's just like, when I think of Cedric, I think of he's one of the most talented professional wrestlers in the entire world. And he is.
Yep.
But every feud I think of Cedric Alexander in, the other guy in the feud is a bigger star and a bigger name in the business. Whether it be the stuff with Bobby Lashley when he was in the Hurt Business, whether it be all the stuff on 205 Live when he was working with Ali. At the end of the day, I always feel like Cedric Alexander is the guy that held everything together. But at the same time, he's not the guy who got the glory. He's not the guy who got all of the thing. And he's like, I was gone for 8 years. And I'm like, well, yeah, but, you know, you weren't doing a lot in WWE. And why are we not bringing up that you're signed to a contract in TNA? Like, why isn't this TNA thing being brought up in this storyline? Because you've been in TNA for about 6 to 8 months now. Like, it felt like there was a lot left to be desired from the Cedric story. Although I love that the way he wrestles as a heel versus the Cedric Alexander that I know and love. I thought that was fantastic.
I think with go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Blue. No, go ahead, Blue.
Ladies first. Go ahead. You got it.
No, I was gonna say because I think that with the TNA part of it, I think it's just a part that I don't think people know about his contract status or not. So I don't know if maybe that's why it's not worth mentioning in a way, because it's not something that maybe he is on a peers basis and not really fully contracted. So maybe that's why they don't mention it. But I do like the fact how they bring up Cedric, to add to the point that you're bringing up, because even though he's gone against bigger people and people that have done more than him, but at the same time, I feel like they kind of measure it this way to a lot of people still to this day. Even with AEW here, people see WWE as the #1 company, and to know the fact that he's signed there and that he feels like nobody has been able to do what he's been able to do to even be signed to the company. That's the biggest company in the world, like wrestling wise. That's why he's probably thinking like, no, you can't measure up to me because I got signed to the big leagues and you haven't, sort of thing. And I think that's, to me, that's how the angle was like translated in itself. And that's why it's like, when he brings up the younger guys, it's like, oh, you haven't been able to like really step up and continue on what I started because you haven't been signed to the big leagues like I have. And I feel like that was more like the storytelling he was able to bring up. But I do disagree in one part. I don't think Soul was entirely unbiased, because there were so many moments that she was struggling there of like, oh, it's my man, like he's doing great too. And I was like, I don't blame you, girl. I really don't. But I do love more like the other part of it that I'm gonna bring up a little bit later. But I love the fact that she's still able to talk about both him and the other person equally. It's not just talk about him because it's her husband. And I love the fact that she's able to like highlight both people in the match here. I did love how Cedric kept throwing him on the apron the way he did, and just kept throwing him like so confidently. I was like, I just can't imagine his back, and that freaking hurts me inside when I felt it. And when he like lifted up and did that kick to the back of the guy's neck, I just like, to me that was just it. Once I saw that and went, I don't know how you get up from that, because to be honest, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like it was just a fun match, and I like Cedric too. He's one of the people like I don't see him having a bad match, and it's one of those things where other people like you can't see him doing that. So for me, this was all around like a good way, not only to highlight himself and his return to like the indies, but to highlight his opponent as well.
I also feel like that's part of the storyline, right? It's like, yo, you doing all this talking, but what did you really do? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like he's telling his former proteges, like, yo, I went up there. Y'all supposed to hold it down here, and y'all supposed to follow me to WWE. Y'all never made it. What happened? Like, I gave you all the tools, I gave you the stepping stones, like I gave you the map. Like, I created a map for you, and you never made it. What happened? Because I think one of them had a tryout, but they didn't get a call back. So that's kind of plays into the story. Like, look, I taught you everything that you needed to do to get up there. What happened? Like, I was gone for 8 years, and you just are in the same spot that I left you in. So that's kind of like the storyline of between them two. And I feel like you said, with the TNA thing, it's probably more so like it's not ready to be promoted because you don't know. It's probably not the long-term contract, right? Because even with Kaun, they don't really mention AEW either. You know what I mean? Like, they make references, the wrestlers make references, but it's not really like a talked about situation. They want to focus more on ASÉ and ASÉ storylines, I guess, without trying to bring in the other companies. But like the natural said, it's WWE is the big league. So whatever you're gonna compare anything, you're gonna compare it to WWE, right? And like I said, one of the wrestlers, I think one of them had a tryout and didn't make it. So that's why I kind of played in the storyline between them. And even in the match, it was like, again, teacher versus student. And he was just like, yep, I'm going to teach you. Like, I'm still better than you after 8 years. Like, what did you do while I was gone? Like, you're not even close on my level. Like, and I feel like eventually it's going to turn into his proteges turning heel with him and becoming his followers again, in a sense, and start building that in ASÉ. I feel like that'd be a dope storyline too, because like you said, Hill Cedric is amazing. Like he's always been that way. Even when he did the things to Hurt Business and this and that, a third, he was always better as a heel. For whatever reason, he's always been better as a heel. Being like the annoying person in the background, like, but who could wrestle and hold his own. So it was never like a pushover kind of situation. But yeah, I think that's what the storyline was in this one, and it was told between the ropes as well again.
Oh yeah, like I said, I love everything that they're doing. Like I said, it was just weird how it was just like, it's Cedric. It's like,
yeah. They big it bigger than it was, but that's what makes it so good. It's like,
I was saying Blue put it in perspective for me. Like when Blue explained it, I'm like, boom, that's what it is. It's his massive ego. It's not the company saying he's a big deal. It's Cedric thinks he's a big deal, and I love that. After the match, we get Yahya coming out, the guy he beat last time, to start all of this, and I love how he comes out, and then they bring out the next guy, and he just beat Cedric, and he's like, really, nobody in North Carolina can beat you? And you talk about people funneling up to the main roster. What about Jay Malachi? What's he doing right now? And he's like, Jackson Drake, he's doing pretty good too. And I'm like, I love that he's talking about guys that he worked with at the school where he runs, that are now getting those opportunities in WWE from the area that they're in. And he's like, look, we got Javon Evans up there. He's doing big things. Jackson Drake is going to be a big star as long as he doesn't get let go from that WWE ID contract like all the other ID people. And we're not going to get into the disruption that is the WWE ID program right now, because that will just turn into an OLED rant. We can't have that tonight. And I love how Caprice Coleman comes out. And again, I can't think about representation in North Carolina and not have Caprice Coleman. I didn't even know he was part of this. But as soon as he came out, I'm like, thank God it's Caprice, man, because I love Caprice. I miss Caprice wrestling. I miss being able to hear Caprice on commentary for things. I want more Caprice Coleman in all of my professional wrestling, no matter where I'm from. But Kozone versus Yahya, the next match will determine the match for Cedric at the October show that just happened.
Yeah.
And the winner of that match will go on to face
the Allfather.
Yes, the Allfather. Darius Carter, I believe it is, correct?
Yep, Darius Carter.
And then and that'll be the number one contender for that match at the anniversary show in December.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's fantastic. You're setting up 3 matches in this one segment. So fantastic work by them. I mean, even though we already had this next match coming out, I like how we add stakes to that, to add stakes to a match we're signing for the next show, to make a main event for the show beyond. I'm like, perfect. That's how you do professional. And that's why you got guys like Darius Lockhart. That's why you got guys like Caprice Coleman. That's why you have people like Jazz and Big Swole in these positions to be able to put these companies to be like, this is how television wrestling does it. Now take it and do it for your month-to-month indie shows the exact same way. You can do televised wrestling storytelling on an independent level and still make him great. Yes, the humor that he was in the Hurt Business was fantastic. And then having Cedric on by the way, the only negative thing I will say about Cedric Alexander for this entire thing is hearing him cut this promo on Yahya and Ian Maxwell made me remember why they gave the microphone to everybody else in the Hurt Business except Cedric Alexander. Cedric, I think he is one of the, as I said, the most talented wrestlers in the world. But his promo game is not on his wife's level by any means. And again, that's hard to do because Big Swole is on.
I mean, he held his own.
He did really well on commentary. I'll say that. He made up for it on commentary because he was every bit the Hurt Business humor guy when he got on commentary with Chris and Swole.
Yeah.
For this next match. And Ashton, I'm going to go ahead and go to you. LeBron Kozone versus Yahya with Cedric Alexander on commentary and Big Swole enjoying every minute of the sweat-filled moment that it was having Cedric next to her.
I really liked him a lot in commentary because being that he knows both of the guys, he's able to give such a background on both of them. It's like he's still kind of being like heelish in a way, but he's still giving background on both of them at the same time and highlighting them in such a way and giving just such a story about them that overall I just enjoyed him a lot more in commentary than I thought I would have. So if he decides to do commentary, I will be all for it as well because he did great in this too. I feel like Yahya to me was the highlight in this match. He really took over the way he was like to me that I was able to show him off the way he did. That spear that he did was just amazing to watch, to be honest. And the way that even like commentary like was able to talk about it and they were so surprised about it. The gun bridge suplex from the top rope, 2000 other move that just like when I saw that happening. And the chops, they were deadly chops. You could just hear them and you could hear them and feel them at the same time, even though you were not there. I cannot. That was to me. That was the highlight of it. But I feel like they had a great chemistry, and at the end we have LeBron winning the match.
Blue.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Cedric added a lot to the match from the commentary position between the two. I'm not sure if you've seen the Allfather yet, Darius Carter. I feel like he could have a great match with any of these guys. It'll be amazing. Yahya has been on the scene for a very long time as well. He's been growing his stock in the company and in this business in general. And to see him and Kozone have a great match, it was a breath to see. I really enjoyed the match between these two. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the long run. Because, like I said, I don't know if you've seen the Allfather. I'm pretty sure you would like his gimmick.
Oh yeah. I've seen the Allfather.
Okay. What are the people that's a brain scratcher? Why nobody has assigned them yet? It's such great work, amazing work. But yeah, it's gonna be amazing to see how this go down and see if Alexander does win the next round, go to the finals because I believe Kozone won this, and I think Kozone beat him before.
Mm-hmm.
So
at DPW.
Yeah, so now it's like, all right, are you gonna get your one back, or are you gonna keep losing to go Kozone, who has his students up at WWE? So who's really the bad teacher? I think this would be a good time for Cedric's proteges to come in and help him out and create that stable.
Millie Rose dropping in. Darius Carter versus Mia Yim is a goated match. Just a side note. I I will have to find that because that sounds like a whole bunch of fun.
No, that's not the match I saw. I seen Mia in a street fight in Jersey. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Sorry.
It's funny you mentioned Jersey because we're headed to Jersey for our next show. I'm going to go ahead and announce this. Me and Astrid are doing the Luna Vachon Invitational show from, I believe it's Jersey City Wrestling, I think is the one that we're covering. Astrid will pull up the graphic for me so I can go ahead and see exactly where it is. But that's the show we're covering because they're having a massive women's tournament in that show involving fantastic. So that will be a fun one. The other thing I want to say is we got to get some love for Kozone in this one because, I mean, Yahya was great, but man, this Kozone, my one to watch for this entire show is Kozone. This man is just sensational. He's the guy I'm going to have to keep an eye on. He's the guy I'm going to have to watch more because I loved this. I can also, do you guys want spoilers for the October show? Because I actually did find out the result of this next match.
I know already. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm good.
Tell us.
It was a double overtime draw at the October Strike to Midnight show. It was Caprice came out and said, y'all both didn't lose, so you both get Darius Carter. And Cedric said, thanks, no thanks. I take my opportunities one-on-one. So it'll be Darius Carter versus Kozone at the December show for the ASÉ World Championship. Yeah, Cedric bound out to go ahead and move on, but it was a double overtime time limit draw on that match. So I thought that was a really fun and interesting way to get in and out of that one.
Yeah, definitely.
We then move on to the Pan-Afrikan World Diaspora Wrestling Championship match between Bishop Kaun and Isaiah Broner. I just want to talk about the referee here because God, she was a delight. First, she takes off the
Side note. First of all, if you haven't seen it, she went viral. I think it was earlier this year for doing that alone on one of the first few shows that ASÉ had, and it was just, I'm like, as long as Kaun was fine with it, he seemed to be. It was just so funny to watch it. I did what I was expecting that. So when this match started and I see her and I went, oh no, we're getting part 2 of this. It was amazing.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, when before this match, the referee takes off her normal referee shirt to have what Chris Lay said to be the African version. And I'll let that go because that's commentary and that's his thing, and whatever he thinks is fine. It was just more of like a zebra print kind of like generic shirt than it was a referee shirt. And then she goes over to Bishop Kaun and she's doing everything she can to not pull a Hallie Atwell in the first Captain America movie to just like touch his chest and his abs, but she's checking him for weapons and she checks his feet and she checks his wrists and she checks everything she can get her hands on. And Kaun, being the ladies' man that Kaun is in his character, is adoring every moment of this. And then I love it. Then she goes to do the same to Isaiah because she knows she can't do it to one and not do the other. And Josephine just puts her hand up. She's like, no, bitch, please. You are not doing that to my man. And so she gives a very quick check to Isaiah Broner. Yeah. And then she pulls the trunks and looks in the trunks. And I'm just like, all right, I'm into this. This is cool. This is a fun way. And then they just had a match. Like they just had, and I know they said it in the early chart. They kind of wasted the whole big meaty men slapping meat in the opening match with those big dudes. But this was my big meaty men slapping meat match because like they just went at it. And my favorite part was them grabbing each other and just doing the shoulder blocks and just neither one of them moving to the point where Isaiah Broner's shoulder like pops out of the socket while he's doing it because he's already got a bad shoulder. I thought this was fantastic. I thought this match was great. And again, it lets Kaun kind of get out cheap and get out with a little bit of a cheap win with having Moses come out. I love this. I love the Gates of Agony, but I never know the other guy's name in Gates of Agony. That's not Moses. Okay, that's Toa Leona. Okay, so that's not Moses.
No.
No.
Moses was his former tag team partner back at Shane Taylor Promotions when Shane Taylor Promotions was in Ring of Honor. It was him. It was Shane Taylor, Kaun, Moses, and the Big Kaju, O'Shea Edwards. There were and they also had another person. His name just slipped my mind. But it was 5 of them. So Kaun and Moses used to be a tag team for the longest, and they were a great tag team. And when they did a 3-man, they had O'Shea Edwards with them over at Ring of Honor. So them rekindling at ASÉ Wrestling made a lot of sense.
All right, that makes more sense. And it is Jersey Championship Wrestling, not Jersey City Wrestling, and it's the Possession Show. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the end. Yeah, Ashley, what were your thoughts on Bishop Kaun versus Isaiah Broner here?
Yeah, the other person you're talking about is Tawa, that I think he's half Samoan, half Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. So that's an interesting combination there. Yeah, I like the part here that we had in so many parts of it that Isaiah, after the shoulder tackle to the post, like his shoulders highlighted in the match in itself. And I see Jocelyn getting involved, and as she gets involved, she gets thrown off of the ring as well. And Yolanda is distracted by her. Somebody comes in to help out Kaun in the end, who they reveals to be Moses later. But I like that even with after the reveal that Moses helped, then we also have Suk D coming back and being and getting involved in this as well. So I like how the story like kept going from earlier too, and didn't just end with the promo that we had before. And with Isaiah getting involved here too. So I like how they have the storytelling continue on and expanding even more with Isaiah here. But I like how they started off with the fun with Yolanda checking out Kaun the way he did, and then Jocelyn doing that too, Isaiah in her corner too. But overall it was a fun match, and I like how they still keep Kaun with the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes the most sense. And again, this is a title that very rarely changes hands. So it makes a lot of sense. And I love that even after the match, after Shug D comes out and helps Isaiah's like, no, dude, we still have issues. I still don't like you. I'm not going to give you a handshake. And he just keeps shoving him and walks away.
Yeah, nah, Isaiah don't go for that.
We then get to our semi-main event, which is the Uglee Gang taking on the Audacity with the opportunity to be in the first ever ASÉ Tag Team Championship match at the next show. And the Uglee Gang in this one is Reyhan, Inteus, and Vega, I believe versus Treehouse Lee and Saieve Al Sabah.
It's great to see those guys, man.
Yeah, well, let's let you go ahead and talk about the Audacity there.
Yeah, the Audacity, man, they're actually brothers. They're blood brothers that's tag teaming. Those two are also amazing. They've been independent for quite a while right now. Them going against the Uglee Gang was amazing. Jordan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the son of Caprice Coleman. So it's like he's joining the gang, and his dad is supposed to be leading him away. So that's the backline storyline of that. It's like Jordan's hanging out with the wrong crowd because he keeps trying to be part of the Uglee Gang, and they're like, we'll let you know when you're official, but you're not official yet. Just hold our flag. You'll be fine.
He's gang, as the Uglee Gang said, he is gang affiliated.
Right, he's gang affiliated. He's not gang. He's just gang affiliated. So that's a funny story behind itself. The crowd really gets behind the Uglee Gang. But this match is just amazing for me. Like I said, the Audacity, them brothers, they're very unique in their offense. When I've seen them both live, and when I've seen them live for the very first time, I'm like, they don't do your typical offense. They do things a little bit different, like how Sabah will just do suplex and do a kip up out of the suplex. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just have a different move set, and it fits them of being different. So I just love this match altogether. I love all these matches on this card, and that's what I like about any shows. They give you a card of matches of people that you may have never heard of, or you've learned to grow to love. And that's what happened of keeping my eye on the indies. Is like all these wrestlers, you just continue to see them to grow. And this match really just hit it for me.
Yeah, that's one of the. I put out a tweet this week, talking about me and Astrid. We had a lot of hesitancy about going from an NXT post show where we covered only NXT and we talked about NXT every week to talking about the indies after SummerSlam. And our biggest thing was, oh my God, are people going to watch? Are people going to be here? Are people going to continue to support? Are we going to be able to find people to talk about these shows? And are we going to be able to find shows that we want to talk about?
Right.
And at the end of the day, we've realized that there's way more better independent wrestling than we have time to talk about. And our biggest problem every week is me and Ash will find every week 5 shows we want to watch, and we have to do one show because by the time we say, oh, well, we'll cover that one a week later, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Because we'll have to cover something else.
Yeah.
So it's just so crazy that, but yes, these guys were fantastic. I love the audacity. They are my favorite tag team from this show, and really the people who I'm going to make sure I seek out and watch. There's just something special about the two of them that I'm very excited for what they have coming up. I thought they were great, but the Ugly Gang get the big win here, which makes sense because we're probably going to get a heel to go up against them in the championship match, so it makes a lot of sense. But I thought everybody here put on a really good show.
Yeah, they end up after the match, you find out they're going against the main event, and they're pretty tough guys. So
now is this the main event, the MLW main event?
Not the you told me. I know they both have the same name. Yeah, no, it's not them. It's not those guys. Funny enough, they're both on For You Wear. Anyway, the main event is Gannon Jones Jr. and Duke Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that main event.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The
Ugly Gang is about to become a little more ugly if they're going
right.
The main
exactly.
event.
Like yeah, it's those guys. So that's why it's so much. It was so interesting to see them win. And even when they found out who they was going against, it was like, all right, I guess we got to go back to the boards. But yeah, it was a great match between the two.
We got Bobby Munson in the chat. The Indies is where it's at. I love listening in every week because I don't have time for every indie promotion, but I do love indie wrestling. Yeah, absolutely. And like Bobby and Papa Smokes cover indie wrestling, most weeks on their show too. And it's so great to be able to have people who care about indie wrestling to be able to show off indie wrestling, because the people we're talking about are the people who are going to be in WWE, in AEW, in TNA, as we keep going. And hell, some of them already are, with people like Savannah Evans, who's in our main event, who was in TNA. We've been talking about Bishop Kaun all show. Bishop Kaun, as they announced in his intro, TBS superstar Bishop Kaun. So it's just nice to see all of this and how well everybody can get along on the indies, because again, wrestling is a big family.
I also just want to point out, this is one of the reasons why people loved AEW when they first came out, is because they don't stop their wrestlers from still touching the indies, because they know that connection with that audience means a lot. So just to be able to allow somebody like Kaun, who's part of one of your main storylines, to go to a place like ASÉ and win a title and develop his skills there, it's just an amazing thing.
Absolutely. It's the one thing I wish WWE did more often. I wish that I know they don't want to. I know they don't.
They never will. They'd rather buy ASÉ before that happens.
Well, I mean, WWE got burned in the 90s with having people like Scott Hall go to Japan and work shows in Japan and then get hurt and be out of storylines. And believe it or not, people, like that was like one of the last straws for WWE with their thing. It was Scott Hall went to Japan and came back hurt.
It happens, though. It's gonna happen.
I agree. It's the stupidest decision in the world.
This ain't ballet.
and it certainly wasn't in our main event. Let me tell you, we had Karen Bam Bam Renee, and I went, oh good God,
Bam Bam.
She is indeed Bam Bam. I'm like, There's a lot of Bam Bam in that. We got Savannah Evans, who I didn't realize was former TNA. I thought she was still part of the TNA Knockouts.
No, she left TNA probably at the top of this year, if I'm not mistaken.
It was so good to see her outside of working with Tasha Steelz. Because that's all the times I saw Savannah, it was always working with Tasha. I thought that was really good to see her outside of that. Obviously, Maya World, who got herself into this. And our winner in first, ASÉ Women's World Champion, Charity King. Astrid, you are, of course, the women's wrestling expert here at our local establishment. And I love saying that because it makes you shake your head and be like, you idiot. Talk to me about this match. What do you think of this four-way?
It was really well done. Like I said earlier, it was like it's interesting seeing somebody like Maya, who's the smallest competitor in this match, compared to like a Savannah MS. Yeah, I mean, she held on her own. I love how great she did in this match. Just thinking of everybody individually, I love how they shook hands at the beginning of the match, and we had like a whole intro, like a whole setup for this team. And I love how they made it, and it is important to them. And you can see by the presentation they give us before the match even starts. And to have the woman main event, to me, is always great when the woman have the opportunity to main event and to kind of new champion. Like, there's something really important to the promotion, and you can see by the way they just gave it to us. I love Jazz arriving in there and being a part of this presentation here for the championship too, not only at the beginning but at the end with Charity too. And Charity having a whole promo at the end, the way she did it, she did great too. No, it's like, I think one that I didn't know about here was Karen. I didn't know about Karen like that. And that was my introduction to her. And I was like, she's such a powerhouse. There's no other way to describe her. And the way I like the spot that they had at one point that I believe it was her. She had Maya on her shoulders and Savannah had Charity on hers. And they looked like they were about to do the thing at the same time, which I was hoping to do because I love when they do the things in sync. But they ended up, the smaller competitors ended up getting them hit and doing the meeting of the minds, as we like to call it. But even at one point, Charity, it's a little bit smaller than Karen. It's able to lift Karen up as well. And to see something like that from Charity, is that Charity's another one. There's such a great powerhouse to watch her be here. I've seen her more like the tag team aspect, so I like seeing her as a singles competitor as well. But I love, like I said, this is one of those that everybody is highlighting themselves in the match, highlighting each other, lifting each other up in the match from beginning to end. But yeah, we still have Charity winning the match. But overall, I feel like they did great with this whole match. And I can't wait to see what other people mix it up with Charity, not with her as champion. Because we mentioned earlier, we had Maya here involved in the match. We had Alexis that did a promo earlier that she wasn't even part of the tournament. And who knows even if Aleah James will come back. So I feel like either one of those combinations will sound great to be able to go against Charity next.
Blue?
Yeah, this definitely, again, I have bias in this match. 3 of the women are partners of mine, but definitely this is a match that was amazing. It was great to see Charity King win the title and get some recognition because she's been killing it on the indie scene as well. They all have, but yeah, Charity King's been in there doing her thing. So it was great to see, like you said, women using their power, using their strength, using their quickness. They all had their own special ability, and they brought it to this match just to round out this amazing battle between the four to be the first ever women's champion for ASÉ Wrestling. Jazz being included, the should be Hall of Famer, the legend, the living legend. It was amazing to see her present it. You can tell how much it meant to Charity to be the very first one to win the title, her very first singles title as well. She's won tag team gold. This was her very first singles championship. So it was great to see them together. Like you said, there was some great spots. Charity King showing her strength and picking up Bam Bam. Bam Bam showing her agility. Like it was just like everybody's doing the opposite of what would you think, right? In this match. And Maya is just like she came in already as a handicap, having to perform earlier that night already. So pulling double duty, you saw that the wear and tear happened as the match went on, when you just like she was exhausted, you could tell, like at the end of it. And it played to all of this put together. And it was amazing just to see Charity and Bam Bam close it out in the fashion that they did.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say, but this match was fantastic. I enjoyed every moment of this. I was so impressed with Karen and Savannah because, again, Savannah to me was always like a bit of a second fiddle. She was always a bit of a, and again, it's hard not to play second fiddle when you're working with Tasha Steelz, somebody who is so exceptionally talented in the women's division, and how she's not featured on TNA every single week in the most pivotal stuff. Like the fact that she still doesn't I don't think she's ever been Knockouts champion, has she?
No, I don't think so.
No, one of the few ones.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it just like after all this time, it still feels like there's just something missing with her in TNA. Even with her in, like, I saw her at Slammiversary when she was part of the All Out War between Order 4 and the System, and her and I never ever give credit to Aleah. I can't. I physically can't give credit to Aleah Edwards. But my God, that woman went through fucking hell in that match with Tasha. And then the tax spots that Aleah put herself through.
Yeah.
But here, it was like these women took a generic four-way that could have been so simple and made it sensational. And the storyline, like you said, Blue, played through with every person had their bit, with Maya not being able to really handle the double matches and really kind of fizzling out when it came to the end.
Yeah.
Savannah stepping up and being the biggest, baddest in the match, but not being able to hang with the veterans of Charity and Karen. And then Charity, pulling out all odds, that big, massive power bomb with Karen on the second rope, to then having the slam, the world's longest slam, to get the win. Just absolutely sensational. Loved everything about this. Charity gets the big win. The locker room empties out. Everybody's giving her props. Everybody's giving her flowers, including her getting actual flowers, which was great. I thought it was like, oh, they're all giving her flowers, and then they had people in the front with flowers. It made me remember the Mae Young Classic, where they'd come up with flowers, or when women were leaving NXT, and you had that 4 horsewomen when Sasha and Bayley were getting ready to leave, and they were getting flowers when they main evented.
Yeah,
this was sensational. She gets the opportunity to, she gets the opportunity to get on the mic, and she talks about how she may not be part of a tag team, but they're the best fucking tag team in the world. And it's just like, this is the kind of thing that women's wrestling needs. And this was a great way to end this show. It was sensational. Again, if you want to support them, their Twitter handle is right here underneath me. Underneath Astrid over there, you've got their YouTube channel. They've got all kinds of content on there. They do fantastic shows. They have all kinds of stuff coming up. They have a show coming up in December, which will be their anniversary show. Soon coming up on their channel, you'll be able to find the October 18th show, the October 16th show that just happened, and you can go ahead and see all kinds of stuff over there. So definitely go ahead and support them, because this was a fantastic show that I wasn't sure what I was expecting out of it, because I read the card and I'm like, all right, I know this name. All right, I've heard of you, and I haven't heard of a lot of these people. I'm like, I'm interested to meet new people. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing this show, is meeting new and interesting, talented wrestlers. And then finding out that, of course, they're all mostly clients for For Your Wear just doesn't surprise me. And again, if you don't know what For Your Wear is, you need to be going down there, even if it's just to go support the wrestling club. If it's not to support these incredibly talented wrestlers who are here, supporting somebody that I love watching on Twitter and all the stuff that they do. A partner of Blues up there, Victor Tyler Perry, who's a friend of the channel. He's been on the show before. We love everything he does, because he is raising the next generation of professional wrestling fans, and he's starting them with the greatest education possible. Not only an education in the real world, but an education into the wrestling world, into the greatness of what professional wrestling can be, and speaking to the people that are like them, that can make them feel, because representation matters. Yep. And he is finding a way to make sure that these children understand that they can be anything they want to be. And just because not everybody looks like them on the biggest stage doesn't mean they can't be anything and everything that they want to be. Fine. And that's why the wrestling club and ASÉ Wrestling are so important, is because you need to have that representation. And it matters so much to so many people. And when you can put on a great product and be representative, that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But while we're here, we want to thank Blue for joining us. We greatly appreciate
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we're going to go ahead and show right now the teaser trailer that aired before we had the first episode the other day. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn off my headphones because every time I use my headphones when I do this, it doesn't work. We're going to go ahead and show the teaser trailer for Brain Buster Battle Royale Trivia.
Dwayne Lee's trying to force it around 3. L's trying to play catch up. Here's your next question.
Here we go.
Which New Japan Pro Wrestler nickname is Cold Skull?
Realness.
Realness.
Is it Seiya Sonata?
Sonata is correct.
Oh
he
my
forced
gosh.
it round 3.
The Bone Soldier.
Nowhere.
I knew New Japan would save me one day.
Hey, I was
My
trying to
mama
kick
was
out
wrong.
that too, man, but I couldn't help it.
Yo, you tried, man. All right, guys. All right, here's the next question. You can go to the men's. I think this might be the first men's question of the night.
Okay.
Who did Shawn Michaels defeat in the main event of WrestleMania 12 to win the WWE Championship?
Krista, was it Bret Hart?
That is correct. Bret Hart is the right answer.
My favorite professional wrestling
That's
match of
all
all
right.
time, by the way.
A little bit. Because my head went to Montreal Screwjob. I'm like, huh?
That's immediately where I went. I had to
Yeah.
back up.
Bret Hart.
All right. Krista B with a 2-0 lead on Meeks. Let's see how this goes. All right, it's a little throwback. Let's see who gets this one. It's going to go to TNA. What finisher is associated with TNA's P.D. Williams?
Cam, Dizzy,
Cam.
Canadian Destroyer.
Canadian Destroyer. That's a good one right there. Oh, man. We all tied
Tight.
up.
It's tight. Ooh, it's tight. Ooh.
Welcome, wrestling fans, trivia heads, and diehard marks.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the start of the next the
I
first
was
season.
going to say, it's already putting me right where I want to be in the start of the next episode.
Man, it's such a great feeling. It was great recording this season, this tournament. It was a lot of fun. As you can see, we had fun recording it. When the light comes on, you think you know the answer. You just second guess yourself, and it was just amazing. It was just so dope to do it. I'm already excited for season 2. I already started planning season 2. It's only after episode 1 of season 1 I'm already excited and planning season 2. But yeah, it was very dope.
I mean, if you need somebody for season 2, I'm just saying.
So
Here.
I've been saying this on this promo run, and I guess I have to do it now because on every podcast that I've gone to talk about Brainbuster Battle Royale, I've mentioned that season 2 I've been leaning towards a tournament style, a stipulation. So it looks like I'm going to have to do it because I keep saying it. It's going to be pod versus pod season 2. But it's going to be podcasters versus podcasters where New Day rules are in effect. So if you're a part of the podcast, any two can jump in. Well, any person can jump in on behalf of the podcast and represent the podcast on that 1v1, or I might do tag teams. I've been thinking about doing tag teams as well. So it's been like, I'm just trying to put everything together in my brain now. Like, I'm just excited. Like, everybody's like, I'm like, yeah, I might just do pod versus pod, just make a tag team, New Day rules, just to create some chaos because I like chaos.
Absolutely. And again, if you want to follow Blue, we've had his stuff flowing down here. Remember, check out For Your Wear. You can check him out on Blue Magic Grind on Instagram and X, and make sure that you're checking out Brainbuster Battle Royal on Twitch every Sunday. Is the new episodes drop every Sunday, correct?
Sunday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. So we got one this week. It's gonna be Martin representing Before the Bell, and he's going against Malik. Malik is Narcolepsy Boy 94 on YouTube and TikTok. He does a lot of wrestling TikTok videos and stuff like that. So check out this matchup this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. streaming on Twitch. If you haven't already, please give us a follow, give us a subscribe, go on Facebook, like us, do all the social media stuff, because we definitely want to try to start building our community and prepare before the season ends so we can jump right into season 2 and, have some fun.
Absolutely. It's been great to have you on the show.
Man, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. When Ashley brought up the opportunity, I'm like, it makes perfect sense, but like, will he join us for the whole show? Because like, I want to get his opinions on wrestling because, like you've said with this show, how so many people here are clients of the For Your Wear and partners, and it's just like it just made sense that it's like you're gonna have such an insight into the people in the process. I'm like, can we get them for the whole show as opposed to just like look at the merch? Because
I'm good for it. As you know, forgot to mention. Charity King, after she won that championship belt, I decided to create a design for her. She has a brand new design on For Your Wear for the win, and it is called Long May She Reign. So check out that merch when you get a chance.
Astrid, why don't you tell the good people what you've got coming up in the near future?
That's it for now, hopefully. No, you can find me my Twitter and my Blue Skies Astrid Pizarro and my Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20. And if you have TikTok, you can follow me there. I'm putting clips from the shows afterwards too. So you can see me crying there too. I have a couple of clips of me crying over AJ Lee returning and Santana winning too. Because I like to embarrass myself sometimes on the internet. It happens. But yeah, that will be all for me. And then I'll be here back next week with this one. As he said, talking about Jersey City Wrestling in that tournament because we have a lot of people there that I love to watch. So I'm excited for that one.
I'm so jealous. I miss being in Jersey.
And just so we can see here, this is the fantastic.
That's cool.
Long May She Reign.
Comes in a couple different colors here. We got red, we got black. There might be one I might need to pick up. I should probably pick up some Ash Bizarro merch before I start picking up.
I'm offended right now. Very offended.
I'm so swamped. Honestly, I need to put Brainbuster Battle Royal merch up there. I haven't done that yet. I'll probably do it tonight before I go to bed or tomorrow. I gotta figure out. It's hard doing everything myself. Like literally, I'm doing everything. So I'll be slipping up sometimes. Actually, no, tomorrow we're going to Halloween night. Sorry, I'm thinking all
that's all good. The best part about Astrid crying on certain things is that sometimes they get to see it. Like when your co-host just so happens to have a meet and greet with Mike Santana the night he wins the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and gets to show him one of his fans crying for his victory. Dope. It's just one of those things. It's really fun. You can find me at all the usual places. I don't really care. Follow me, don't follow me. Like I do the things I do. It is what it is. I retweet a lot of wrestling stuff. I unfortunately retweet too much political stuff now, but that's neither here nor there. Because the world's going to shit, and I feel like I need to start doing it. But like Ashton said, we got Jersey Championship Wrestling coming up, the Possession Show, which includes in the Luna Vachon first round matches. We've got Billy Starks taking on Kenzie Page, I believe it is, correct?
Oh, nice.
Yes. Kenzie.
Trying to find it real quick.
Yes, Kenzie Page, Jada Stone, and Maya World. Yep.
Yeah, from NWA.
Yeah, and then
Jada Stone in Maya World. Look at that.
See?
In the second of the Fatal 4-Way matches, we've got Kylie Alexa taking on Gabby Forza, taking on Ava Everett, taking on Emerson Jane. And then in the final one, we got Mara Sade taking on Lena Cross, taking on Janai Kai, and filling out that one is Nikki XS. The winner of each of those matches went into a elimination final. Also on that show, there were some other fantastic matches that I'm trying to find on their website right now. So give me just 2 seconds. Since the show's happened now, I can't find the card anymore. But there were some fantastic matches on this card, so we're going to be going ahead and covering that. And again, we love staying in the Northeast for these shows because the Northeast just puts out, again, I will always say this, the best professional wrestling on the independent scene comes from the Northeast. Whether it be Jersey, whether it be New York, whether it be Boston, whether it be Maine, that whole new, northern section puts out the best of the independent wrestling. And of course, you can find all of our local establishment stuff down here. Ole podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, and of course, our local establishment on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, all that fine stuff. Please go ahead and give us a subscribe, give us a like. We have passed the first monetization for the followers, but we still need a little bit of watch hours. So hopefully you can go ahead and throw us on a playlist in the background while you're doing your stuff at work or something like that, so we can try to get those watch hours so we can get the first level monetization. That would be great. Again,
get
one
you guys
last.
on For Your Wear.
We already got Astrid there. But yeah, the rest of us might. There have been talk about merch before in the past.
See, there we go.
Seemingly the one.
See, look, it's right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny though. Every time we talk about merch, everybody always talks about making merch for me because I do stupid shit that belongs on a shirt. And I'm like, I don't want merch. Like, I don't want the stupid stuff that I remember to be on merch. Like,
to live forever.
Oh yeah, but like, I don't even want the fact that like this emote is the most used emote on our local establishment, and I hate it. It's my face on the Boss Baby with a bottle of Gatorade that says Haterade on it. Because
you beat me though. See, your emo is more popular than mine now. There you go.
But thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Again, join us next Tuesday night as we talk about Jersey Championship Wrestling. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you again to our special guest, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.